Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to New Beginnings Toastmasters Club meeting this evening. I'm Lee Walker, the Sergeant at Arms. And Andrew, do we have somebody for invocation?
I believe we do. Hold on one second. I'm not looking at the agenda right now. Robert, do we have an? Oh, we didn't. All right, it's all you, Lee.
Okay. Is JP on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At this time, let's welcome our club president, JP.
Hey everybody, welcome. As y'all could hear before, I was moving around and helping my buddy move. I'm gonna step outside. It was a little more quiet, so I'm not gonna address most of everybody. But as you can see for the agenda, it's not gonna be your average night. We have the club election. Woo! And we have a special training from David. Wow! So and I'm excited for tonight as well. And for a great turn of events. But besides that, I don't have really anything else to put out, but I will turn it over to, I'll turn it over near the end of the night to David and Robin. If they have anything to put out, we can go from there. So and I just want to get the night rolling and just get this stuff going. Oh, wow. So then without further ado, let's turn it over to Andrew for the Toastmaster of the evening, David Marshall.
The election comes first.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna run the election.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
All right. Welcome. How's everybody doing this evening? I will unmute everybody for this part. So we are now going to go into the election process for our slate of officers to serve us from July 1st until June 30th in our upcoming Toastmasters year. Mr. Robert Riggs, you messaged me that we do have a quorum. Is that confirmed? All right. Yeah. What's going on? I'm supposed to unmute everybody.
I'm unmuted.
Okay, there you go. Everybody should be able to unmute yourselves.
There we go. Yes, I believe we have 12 active paid members currently here tonight, and we have a total of 21 active and paid members. We need at least 11 for a quorum. That's 50% plus 1, so we 50% plus 2. We have an active quorum.
All righty, thank you. All right. So, as of this moment, we do not have any contested positions for the officer positions, but if anyone wishes to nominate someone, present or otherwise, they can offer a nomination when I call for nominations. We'll go in order, starting from president, then we will go all the way down until we get to sergeant at arms. Does anybody have any questions before we begin the selection process? Excellent. Give me one moment to find the list of officers that I just had a second ago. Things tend to disappear on me lately. All right, here you go. All right. For the office of president, the nominating committee has elected Robert Riggs. Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Having heard none, nominations are now closed. Without objection, since there is only one candidate for the president, we will forego the secret ballot and instruct the secretary to cast one single vote on behalf of the club for Robert Riggs. Congratulations, Robert Riggs.
Thank you, sir. Andrew, can you please remind everybody to unmute themselves if they wish to nominate somebody?
Yes, yeah. Please unmute yourselves if you wish to nominate anyone. You have the ability to do so. All right. For the office of Vice President Education, the nominating committee has nominated David Anthony Marshall. Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Hearing none, nominations are now closed. Without objection, since there is only one candidate for the office of Vice President Education, we will forego the secret ballot and instruct the secretary to cast a single ballot on behalf of the club for David Anthony Marshall. Congratulations, David. Yeah, feel free to applaud. You can unmute yourselves for that. That's fine. All right. For the office of Vice President of Membership, the nominating committee has nominated Josier Jean-Paul. Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Hearing none, nominations are now closed. Without objection, since there is only one candidate for the office of Vice President Membership, we will forego the secret ballot and instruct the secretary to cast a single vote on behalf of the club for Josier Jean-Paul. Congratulations, JP. For the office of Vice President Public Relations, the nominating committee has nominated Tammy Adama. Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Hearing none, nominations are now closed. Without objection, since there is only one candidate for the office of Vice President of Public Relations, we will forego the secret ballot and instruct the secretary to cast a single vote on behalf of the club for Tammy Adama. Congratulations, Tammy. For the office of secretary, the nominating committee has nominated Jennifer Newman. Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Hearing none, nominations are now closed. Without objection, since there is only one candidate for the office of secretary, we will forego the secret ballot and instruct the secretary to cast a single vote on behalf of the club for Jennifer Newman. Congratulations, Jennifer.
Yay, thank you.
Victory is life.
What?
For the office of treasurer, the nominating committee has nominated Jorni Bacala. Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Hearing none, nominations are now closed. Without objection, since there is only one candidate for the office of treasurer, treasurer, we will forego the secret ballot and instruct the secretary to cast a single vote on behalf of the club for Jorni Bacala. Congratulations, Jorni. For the office of Sergeant at Arms, the nominating committee has nominated Joshua Puerto. Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Hearing none, nominations are now closed. Without objection, since there is only one candidate for the office of Sergeant at Arms, we will once again forego the secret ballot and instruct the secretary to cast a single vote on behalf of the club for Joshua Jordan Puerto. Congratulations, Joshua. At this time, the election process is now closed. We will have an induction ceremony in an upcoming meeting, and I will keep you posted on that. I will now turn control of the meeting over to our Toastmaster of the evening, Mr. David Anthony Marshalls.
Marshalls! Hey! Hello, everyone!
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to our night to learn about evaluations. And it's important to do a positive and uplifting and meaningful evaluation, one that gives others an opportunity to learn and grow. And so what I'm going to do is we're just going to go through a training sequence that is offered through Toastmasters.org. And we're going to make this interactive at certain parts of this training. But what I would like you to do is, Andrew, can you put the PDF, or Robert, can you put the PDF in the chat so that everyone can get a copy of the PDF for evaluations? There's an evaluation form that we use. What's that?
Andrew just put a link in there, but I also emailed it emailed it out to all guests, all members. I also emailed a PDF.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a link there in the chat for anyone that doesn't have it. That way you don't have to go sifting through your email.
Yep, and that link works just fine. Okay, awesome.
Of course it works. I picked it out.
So everyone, make sure you open that and kind of have it ready. So when we go through, you can kind of follow along. What we're going to do is to run this down, we're going to go through the process of what an evaluation is and how it's supposed to work. We're going to have a test speaker after the interactive training where everyone is going to make your own evaluation using the evaluation form, right? And then we're going to call on specific people to do their evaluation. You'll have 2 to 3 minutes. The cutoff time is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, you will be muted and we'll go on to the next evaluator because that's the timing sequence for, or the limit for an evaluation. And we're going to try to, and what we're going to do first is go through the whole process together and have a group discussion on how to evaluate a speaker that is in the training. Is everyone clear on, just give a thumbs up on what we're doing? Any questions? Good. I think Franz has a question. Can we unmute everyone for a second? Just to...
Yeah, and the link you're referring to, I'm trying to look at it on my phone or on the screen. I don't see it.
Okay, so there's a chat feature on Zoom. If you move the mouse, you'll see on the bottom. I guess you're on a computer, right?
Yes.
So on the bottom, you see like a pop-up where it says participants and then chat.
Oh, I see it. Okay, chat. Okay.
Click on chat and you'll see a link from New Beginnings TM.
Right. Okay.
And that will open the evaluation. Does everyone have the evaluation form? Thumbs up, everyone? Good, 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 good. Melba does not.
Got it now.
Are you on your phone?
Hey Melba, did you see the link in the chat, or do I need to post it again?
No, I got it.
All right. There you go. I just sent that out again. So
Hey, Asha, you're unmuted.
I have a question. So what I have for individual evals for this is 3 minutes, 30 seconds, just to make sure, not the regular 2 to 3 minutes.
No,
so
no,
it's 2 to 3 minutes. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead. You got it.
It's the typical evaluation is 2 to 3 minutes.
Right.
In the Toastmasters format, we give you a little leeway with evaluations where you can finish 30 seconds before the 2 minutes and 30 seconds after the 3 minutes.
Okay.
So it's kind of a grace period to kind of give you time to wrap it up. But your ideal evaluation should be between 2 minutes and 30 seconds,
Right.
or 2 minutes and 3 minutes.
So 30 minutes plus minus.
2 and 3 minutes. So at 3 minutes, you'll put up the red flag or whatever you have, and then they have kind of a grace period. At
Yes.
30 seconds, they're overtime. At 31 seconds, you're overtime. If they finish at 3 minutes and 29 seconds, they made time.
Okay.
Okay? Is everyone clear? You have
I
a
have a
question, Avery?
Yes. So when you guys say evaluate, like, what do you mean by that?
So every speech, when you make a speech, any speech, you will have someone doing an evaluation on you that will give you feedback on your speech so that you can take that information and improve yourself and improve on your speech. So
Okay.
if you can follow along, see that are you driving or you stopped or?
No, like I'm in my driveway.
Okay, so when we go, that's what we're gonna go through the entire process here, and then point in the training, we're going to do an interactive type of evaluation on a speaker that's in the training, and then by the end of this process, you will be very clear on how to do an evaluation.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Andrew, have I missed anything before we start?
I think you nailed it.
Robert?
I do have one question. Have you pre-selected the evaluators?
Yeah, I have the list.
Oh, okay. Is there anybody on here like Jorny or Jennifer, anybody like that you want to give a shout out to?
What do you mean give a shout out to?
Let them know that because they're muted right now, they might be distracted. So I think JP was also selected.
Yeah.
We'll deal with that once we get to that point.
Yeah, when we get to that point, we'll just right now, everyone assume that you will be doing your own evaluation. Why don't we do that? Because I want to make sure that everyone goes through the entire process individually, personally, as much as possible. I know, Avery, are you able to kind of manipulate the PDF, like kind of type into it because you're on a phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Wait. No, I can't. I'm on my phone.
Okay. Just kind of follow along. And then if anything, we could do another separate Zoom meeting and we'll go over that.
Okay.
Yeah, but the important thing right now for tonight is that everyone gets a really good gist and understanding on how to do the evaluation.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I see a message from Melda. We'll talk about that later on in the meeting, and then we're going to go through how to fill the evaluation form through the interactive portion. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to screen share, and everyone just kind of follow along. As soon as I figure out and remember how to get to this, I'll send everyone the link. But this is on Toastmasters.org. So if you're a member, you can access this and get it anytime that you want to, if you want a refresher. Good. All right, so I'm going to screen share and let's go. All right. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
We're in business here.
What's that?
We are in business.
Okay, Robert, are you ready to go just in case? What?
As soon as I can find the actual location of the link.
Okay, let me send that to you.
Okay.
All right, you got that? All right, cool.
Evaluator can be one of the most intimidating parts of being a Toastmaster. Even members who have been evaluated many times give much thought to their comments and scores when they evaluate their peers. Hi, I'm Melissa Resnick Gonzalez. I've been a Toastmaster for 7 years and a club mentor specializing in speech evaluations for 3. Today, we'll be working together to learn about evaluations in the Toastmasters Pathways learning experience. This tutorial will give you an opportunity to review each section of the Pathways evaluation resource, practice evaluating a speech using the actual tools you will use in Pathways, and compare your evaluation scores and comments with mine. Please type your name in the box. I would like to know who you are and introduce you to the Toastmaster of the day before we evaluate a speech.
We are all evaluators today.
It's nice to meet you. Welcome to Bright and Early Toastmasters. Today, we will be evaluating a speech by Kathy Jimenez. She is presenting her researching and presenting speech to the club and is looking forward to feedback that will help her build her skills. Before we can evaluate Kathy's speech, we need to review a Pathways evaluation resource to learn how it can be used to best support Kathy. Evaluations are subjective. Each evaluator brings their own expertise and understanding to the process. When completing a Pathways evaluation, skills are scored separately. Some skills are specific to the project, and others are important for effective public speaking, regardless of the subject. Along with the scores, there is room for you to add comments to each section. This way, you can easily express your individuality as an evaluator. Let's look at an evaluation resource together.
We are literally going to look at this evaluation
Each
resource
evaluation
together.
resource has 3 pages. This is page 1. The top section gives you the information you need about the speaker and their speech. This section includes the purpose of the speech and often a description of the work a member did that you will not see in the club meeting. This work might be journaling, attendance at an outside event, or volunteer work. The Pathways projects are built to encourage members to expand their learning into many areas. You will also find a space here for general comments about the speech. You can add comments like, I liked your topic. I didn't know anything about color blocking before today. Your gestures have really improved over your last speech. I noticed that you used your hands more effectively. I would really like to see you look around and make eye contact with more audience members. You might consider selecting audience members before you speak. Let's look at page 2. This page includes the scored portion of the evaluation. Every competency is scored on the same scale, from 5 to 1. 5 is exemplary. The member is exemplary in this area of evaluation or the competency. 4 is excels. The member excels in this area of evaluation or the competency. 3 is accomplished. The member has accomplished this competency. 2 is emerging. The member's accomplishment in this competency is emerging. 1 is developing. The member's accomplishment in this competency is developing. Notice that a score of 3 is accomplished. To receive a score of 5 or exemplary, a member needs to be, well, exemplary. That means there is no room for improvement. A 3 on the Pathways Evaluation Resource Scale is a great score. The final page, page 3, is all about providing speakers and evaluators a common language for understanding the scores for an individual competency. Let's take a closer look at the first competency, clarity. Every speaker strives to be clear when they present. An accomplished speaker will score a 3. Spoken language is clear and easily understood. A member who receives this score has met the goal of the competency. Some members are particularly talented speakers. These members may do more than communicate clearly and be easily understood. They may be a pleasure to listen to, or even so accomplished when they speak, they don't fumble over a single word and never use fillers. Members like this will score a 4 or 5 on the Pathways scale. A member who is struggling to communicate well will score a 1 or a 2. These members may have a tendency to mumble. They may use so many filler words that it's difficult to follow the content of their speech. The goal of delivering a score of 1 or 2 is to encourage members to improve, while honestly addressing areas that are in need of development. That is a lot of information to take in. Before we join the Toastmasters meeting and watch Kathy's speech, take a few minutes to review the evaluation resource on your own. It always helps me to read through each criteria and review the purpose of the speech. If you would like to review the meaning of each score, select Scores. Once you have completed your review and you feel ready to watch and listen to Kathy's speech, select Get Started.
All right, everyone. So let's kind of run through this research and presenting. As soon as I can get to it. All right, so everyone has this kind of open on their laptop or computer or phone, correct? Awesome. So the evaluation forms are going to look exactly like this for pretty much every speech. The only difference is it'll say whatever up here with an evaluation form, whatever the topic is, or the what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever the project is going to be up here. And then of course the purpose statement and the notes for evaluator, that'll all be different, but it'll have the same exact format for every evaluation form, just like the training showed us. Okay. And it's really simple. You just put whoever is you're evaluating up here in the member name, the date, the speech length here with the same 30 seconds, at 7 minutes, 30 seconds, your overtime, that sort of thing. And you definitely, when you're evaluating, you want to read this section so that you are familiar with what you are evaluating the speaker on, so that you can give a really good evaluation. Also, it's very good to, if you are a speaker, to know who your evaluator is, and maybe the day before, or if you can't, before the event starts, take 5 minutes and sit down with your evaluator and go over this form. Just say, hey, in addition to what's on this form, I'm also looking for, I've been practicing eye contact. Can you really pay attention to that for me? I've been working with hand gestures. I have really been struggling with the filler words. Can you really pay attention to that for me? So that when your evaluator is evaluating you, you're helping to guide them on what you need to improve on. Awesome. So that's it's going to look the same, and of course you can type on it in all the it's all something you could type in, and you save it and send it. You put comments in if you have comments, and then if you need some guidance, you could go ahead and read through page 3. when you're doing your evaluation speech, and we'll go through that also in a second here, when you're doing your 2 to 3 minute speech, this first page is your general guidance. So you're going to, of course, talk about what they excelled at, what they may want to work on, and what they want to challenge them on. And that's going to be pretty much the extent of your 2 to 3 minute speech. This second page is really for them, between the speaker and you, to kind of sidebar and say, hey, here's an extra. So during your 2 to 3 minute speech, we are not going to say that the person got excelled in clarity or they sucked in eye contact. You don't want to do that. The whole purpose of an evaluation is to stay positive, to focus on the strengths, and to say, hey, you might want to work on this. You did a good job just for accomplishing, just getting up there and doing your speech. But to improve on next time, you might want to work on these areas. Never want to tell someone you were terrible at this or anything negative. Nothing in an evaluation should be in a negative light, because it is tough. Just a lot of people have problems with public speaking, and the whole point of Toastmasters is to help people become comfortable with speaking and to improve. Right? So hopefully everyone is following along. I think I'm pretty much done with that section. So any questions on the evaluation form? Miss Elizabeth Claire. Is everyone unmuted? Can they unmute?
Everybody can unmute themselves, but
You can unmute yourselves.
All right, there you go.
I'm confused about the dual way that we're evaluating. Like if we go up in front of the room, we need a piece of paper in front of us with what we've written for the evaluation. But it seems like we're also doing this on a computer.
Oh, it's, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So I'm confused. Do we have to print this out ahead of time and bring it in and then give it to the person? Or are we evaluating it by drawing up from Toastmasters the evaluation form for that speaker and typing it in so that they get it by email?
That's a very good question. So since we're on Zoom meetings primarily, it's just easier to, first of all, let me back up a little. If you're speaking, it's the speaker's responsibility to make sure that your evaluator has your evaluation form, or at least remind them to download it from the agenda, or it's really your responsibility to make sure that your evaluator has the form. It's not the evaluator's form to go digging, looking for your evaluation form, because it is your speech. So when you're speaking, you want to make sure that your evaluator has your evaluation form, which is another reason why it's good to know who your evaluator is, and maybe the day before, definitely sit down with your evaluator and say, here's my form, and this, in addition to this is what I'm looking for. So that they have the evaluation and they're very clear on what you would like to be evaluated on. If you can't do it the day before the event starts. Now, when it comes to whether you're going to do a paper form or an email, is really between you and the speaker, or whatever's easiest. So in this forum, for me, it's just easier to use actually what I do is when I'm evaluating I use the same format, but I'm taking paper notes. So I have a piece of paper, I'm using the same format of you excelled at, you might want to work on it and challenge, you might want to challenge. And I'm just kind of taking paper notes, and I'm using my paper notes to say my speech evaluation. And then after the event's over, I'll type it up and send it to the speaker so that they have that.
I'm not sure how you send it to the speaker. The evaluator is getting it from Toastmasters organization and downloads.
On the agenda.
Elizabeth, you can actually pull the evaluation form directly from the agenda, but it comes directly from Toastmasters International.
The agenda.
It's based on the project that the person is doing. while we are here in this virtual environment, the best way to go about doing the evaluation is to do it on the computer and emailing it after you fill in the evaluation, emailing it to the person you evaluated. But in an in-person club environment, you would have a printout of this, which the speaker will print out and hand to you, much like we did with the manuals, where he just handed you the manual and said, "This is a project I'm working on.
Yeah.
Please fill out my evaluation." And then you hand it back to them at the conclusion of the meeting. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I think what David said before is like, if I know I'm speaking and I know who's evaluating me, I find the evaluation form and send a link to that form to the person evaluating me. Or
You
he's
can
going to
do it
find
like
it
that,
on the
yes.
agenda.
When for everyone that's in the club, once you put your information on the website, there will be a link for you to pull up the project description and the agenda and the evaluation form, which David is about to demonstrate for you right now.
Okay, thank you.
So when we send the agenda out in, I don't know, I've never paid attention. Andrew, can you pull the evaluation straight from the email? No.
I don't think you can pull it from the email, but you can pull it from the agenda if you visit it. Let me check, just in case I'm wrong.
I'm going to go to a pass.
Go down to Joshua's, yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so here's a active listening for Joshua, and he's working on active listening in for his L2. That's his project. And you see right here where it says evaluation form. You go ahead and click on that, and it will open his evaluation form for that project.
And I have confirmed that it absolutely can be accessed from the email.
Thank you. So you can when we send out the agenda, the evaluator can pull this from the email. When I say that it's the speaker's responsibility, we're all working adults. We're busy, we have things, we have great intentions, and so we may forget to pull the evaluation form. So if it's your speech, you want to get where you're evaluating and just say, hey, I know you've been busy. You're my evaluator tomorrow. Do you have 5 seconds where maybe we could go over my evaluation form? And then that makes them walk through the process so that they're prepared to help you with your speech. And so whatever for you, Elizabeth, whatever you're comfortable with, if you want to print it and handwrite it and then type it in later like I do and then send it as a PDF to the person, and that's great. So it's up to between the speaker and the evaluator. Go ahead, whatever works for you two. There's no set, you must do it this way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's see. Let me get back. Uh-oh. Okay. Is everyone good? Can we move on? Any questions? Cool.
Kathy joined a club to improve her leadership and communication skills. She wants to be a better speaker to help her advance at work. She faced some challenges in her first 2 speeches. Her evaluators expressed that Kathy tends to present in a low, even voice that causes her to sound monotone. Kathy and her mentor have identified this issue as an area for improvement as she develops her speaking skills. At her mentor's suggestion, Kathy has asked that we pay close attention to her vocal variety during her speech today. I have a few suggestions to help you with your evaluation.
So I want to take a pause here and just to note that, especially for you, Avery, Asha, all our new members, there are several levels of help and support in New Beginnings Toastmasters to help you improve on your speaking. So just understand that everyone here has been in your shoes. Everyone has had to do icebreaker speech, shaking in their boots or whatever they're wearing, nervous about, am I going to do this right? Don't worry about it. Okay, everyone's been there, everyone's done that, everyone understands. So there are several layers. You have an evaluator, you have our new officers, you have a mentor that you can talk to. So relax and you can do it.
We only have time to watch a part of Kathy's speech. Complete your evaluation based on what you see and hear. When you want to make a comment or post a score, select any page of the evaluation on the screen and Kathy will pause. Once you have added what you want to add, close the page. Kathy will resume her speech. Your work will be saved. Our goal is to recognize what Kathy does well and help her to improve by providing her with supportive, constructive feedback. Once you've watched Kathy's speech and completed the evaluation, select Submit to compare your scores to mine. Are you ready? If you need more time, select Review, and you will return to the evaluation resource so you can read through it again. If you're ready, select Let's Evaluate.
Okay, so evaluation suggestions. So complete your evaluation based on what you see and hear. We're evaluating on what we see and hear. We're not evaluating on content. Okay, so content is not part of the evaluation. And we're not going to spend time in our 2 to 3 minutes talking about content. Because that's really a personal thing. It's their speech and they took the time to write that. Okay, now if you want to on the sidebar discuss content, that's between you and the speaker, but during the 2 to 3 minute evaluation, content, that's not really the forum to talk about content. Make or comment. Okay, this is what we're going to do together. So as does everyone have their evaluation sheet ready, kind of ready to go?
No.
Okay, do you have that? You see?
I just have PDF, that's all.
Elizabeth, you can go.
I've got it. It's just that my computer doesn't let me access it easily.
Okay, so if you go to the
PDF,
email I sent out,
I've got the evaluation form. It's just that I lose seeing people when I'm looking at the evaluation form.
Oh, gotcha. Because you have one screen. Okay.
I have the PDF, but I can't fill it out because I'm on the phone.
Okay, you're in the same boat as Avery, so just kind of follow along, and you're welcome to just kind of participate. What we're going to do is I'm going to, because you see that we can pause, so make a comment or post a score by selecting any page evaluation on the screen, and Kathy will pause. So we're going to go through that, and then we're going to go through the evaluation form together. I just want to make sure that everyone has their evaluation form ready to go, so that when Andrew does, we're gonna do this together, and then Andrew's gonna be a test speaker, so he's going to actually say his speech, 5 to 7 minutes, and then everyone's going to do their own evaluation form. You fill out the evaluation form. So, for example, Elizabeth Claire, if you feel more comfortable using a paper format, you don't have to sit there and fill out the form. It is actually distracting, which is why I use paper format. But you still want to use the same Excel that, right? The same format as the evaluation form. Make your paper comments, notes, whatever, 2 to 3 minute speech. But I was wanting to have the PDF so that you could see the format as Andrew is speaking. If you're comfortable typing it in, that's perfectly fine. There's no you must. Whatever you're comfortable with, go for it.
For those who don't have the ability to fill in their evaluation forms, if you can get some pen and paper and just take notes on separate sheet of paper, you can do that as well.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Andrew. That's definitely an option.
What do you say? Get a pen and paper?
Yeah, you could, just as long as you have the same format, basically. So let's, did I close that? So So for example, you see here, so then what I would normally do, I already know who I'm evaluating. So I'll just kind of put like all that. And my handwriting's not going to be nice because I'm work on.
So are we all doing different evaluations based off of the test speech?
Yes, you're going to do your own evaluation based off of Andrew's test speech. So this is what I do. I'll put, hopefully, can't really see it, but I'll use paper and I'll put you excelled at. Can everyone see me, my video? Okay, so I'll put you excelled at, and I'll put my comments, and then I'll put work on, and put my comments. Then down here, I'll put notes for challenge, right? And then when I'm saying my evaluation, I'll say, hey, Andrew did a great job. Thank you for saying your speech. It was very informative. You excelled at using hand gestures. You were able to make me feel like I was part of your speech because you had great contact, eye contact. You might want to work on maybe using the space a little bit more, maybe using hand gestures more definite and using it with purpose instead of just kind of going like this. That's what I noticed. And what I would like to challenge you is to practice with a mirror. Look at yourself doing your evaluation, your speech, and note for yourself how you're using hand gestures, and pay attention to if you're using eye contact or you're looking at yourself. You might want to do your speech in front of your friends and family and then have some feedback there. So that's a short example of how to do evaluation using this format. Is everyone good?
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh gosh.
Does it feel kind of overwhelming, or is everyone kind of following along?
I'm like trying to get a pen and paper. That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, got you. I'm gonna give it. You know what? Let's do a 4. What time is it? Where are we on our agenda? 7:50.
Time is now 7:50. Sorry.
Thanks, sir.
Hey, David.
Yeah, we're
like I said, don't worry about the time constraint because we were prepared for the possibility that this might occupy the entire meeting.
okay. All right, everyone. We're kind of this is kind of the meat and potatoes of today. So why don't we take a 5-minute break so everyone can get situated? If you want to find a pen and paper so that you're ready to go, fill out exactly what I said. All that. Work on and challenge so that you're ready to go. And in 5 minutes, we'll come back and we'll watch Kathy's speech and we'll walk through the evaluation process so everyone has a clear understanding.
Oh my God. Ow.
All right. So let's try to everyone just kind of we're going to observe Kathy's speech and we're going to pause at certain points and kind of open the floor. Does everyone have the ability to unmute themselves?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to do this collectively. All right, let's evaluate.
Kathy is completing her level 1 project.
Hey, David, you're not sharing.
Oh, I am not sharing. Okay. Yeah, I forgot.
Sharing is caring.
Okay. There we go. I am sharing now. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
We're good?
All right, we're good.
Her speech. Kathy is completing her level 1 project. Research and present a topic. With her speech, ways to improve your memory.
Have you ever been in a conversation with someone and realized you don't remember his name? When a friend joins the conversation, you'd like to introduce them to each other, but you can't. You can avoid this awkward situation by learning ways to improve your memory. There are many ways to remember names and other information.
All right. So far, what are we noticing on Kathy's speech?
She's not really making eye contact.
Good. Anything else?
She's opening with a question, which is a good idea.
Also, it's very good to point out what people are doing correctly. Absolutely. What else are we noticing so far?
Didn't engage the club.
What's that?
She didn't greet the press and the people to engage them and bringing them into her.
So does anyone want to comment on the? I think, Franz, what you're referring to is the good evening Toastmasters, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do Robert or Andrew, do you want to comment on that particular?
I'll comment on it.
Right.
It doesn't really matter whether you put it at the beginning or at the end of your introduction. It is recommended, but it is not always required. However, you don't want to just start your speech and just go from there. You actually want to kind of try to bring everybody in. You can do it with a question, like Elizabeth said, but you want to eventually at some point kind of frame the introduction towards everybody to say, welcome to, to everybody tonight. This is my speech, that kind of thing.
Right. Good comment, Franz. And good noticing that. What's important about evaluating is also it's helping you to learn listening skills. So that's always a good practice to learn listening skills. So let's continue with Kathy's speech.
You can associate a name with an image. For example, if you make a new acquaintance named Don, you can imagine the sun rising behind his back. When you first meet someone, incorporate the person's name into your greeting so that you say it aloud.
All right, what do we catch there?
Leaning on the lectern.
Yeah, her posture.
So that's something that we want to probably put in the you may want to work on section is body language.
Yeah.
She's fidgeting with her hair.
The fidgeting, you might want to work on body language. That'll all be
That falls under body language.
Right.
She's really slow and boring.
Yeah, I was saying.
But she's organized.
I did see that she used like exemplary kind of when she said what's an example. Giving an example.
She makes me wonder if, as the speech progresses, she's going to improve upon those very skills.
Right.
True.
All right. Any other comments so far? It's very interactive, so speak up if you have any comments, any questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question and all that. This is for all of us to learn. So what do you got?
Well, if she's a beginner, she's good at not fainting or falling apart or throwing up. But if she's an advanced speaker, she should be past those qualities.
So for us new speakers, just like I said, we've all done that. Just getting up there and completing a speech is an accomplishment in itself. So.
Right.
Zach, did you have something? I think I saw you kind of gesture.
She could just kind of liven up her tone a little bit, make it a little more personal, like she's talking to her friends, people that she likes.
Oh, Andrew or Robert, will you say that's more towards content, or is that what Zach is saying? What would that exactly? Where would that fit into
That
general
would
comments.
kind of fall into content,
Right.
but when you speak to content, it would be framed in, are you keeping the audience interested?
Okay. Right. That's very good.
It's very boring.
What about, I have one or a
Yes,
few.
ma'am.
What about varying the cadence and the pitch of her speech? That's something she could possibly work on as well.
Vocal variety. Yep.
So there you go, right there. Vocal variety.
Yeah.
So this is a good resource. On page 3, you have clarity and explains what you're doing. Vocal variety, eye contact, gestures, audience awareness, and comfort level. You could tell that she's not very comfortable with her body language and the way she's speaking. So she'd probably get somewhere in the 1 range here.
Wait, I have a question.
Sure.
So, since she's not comfortable and her body posture is like not the best, is that why it kind of feels awkward?
You're saying her speech kind of feels awkward to you?
No, like it feels like the crowd seems like they feel really awkward.
Well,
Like, I was thinking more of like her preparedness, I guess. Like, who knows how prepared she was before starting or like in constructing her speech.
I would say that with comfort level as well as confidence.
To meet you, John.
Sorry.
With comfort level and confidence, that will determine how your audience reacts to your content. So if you're struggling to find a comfort zone and feeling comfortable speaking to your audience, for example, I once had a speaker who was literally trying to jump out of his skin the entire time he was speaking. And his nervousness was so apparent that nobody even remembers what he was speaking about because they were focused on his nervousness and his body gestures and everything that he was doing that detracted from what he was talking about.
Right.
And they could hear the shakiness in his voice, and his speech became, oh, well, all I saw was, his movement.
Right.
Right. So comfort level and confidence is very important to connecting with your audience.
And that's okay because as an evaluator and as your mentor and your officers in your club, we're all here to help you through that. Just like I said in the beginning, everyone's been there, done that. I did my icebreaker, nervous, and everyone's been there. So all that improves over time, which is the whole point of doing an effective evaluation.
Okay.
Good?
Yep. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, let's continue here.
You can confirm name and the pronunciation. Rhymes and alliteration are also effective ways to remember information. That is why we are able to remember the words to the rhymes and songs we learned children. Don't make excuses such as, I have a bad memory, or I can never remember some things. Remembering a person's name is a sign of respect, and that helps build solid personal and professional relationships.
All right, so let me pause. Something I want to point out, no matter how a speech goes, the person, like Andrew said, you're jumping out of your skin, they come up and they do ahs and uhs every other sentence. They
use fillers.
Everything that they were supposed to say, they were off topic. No matter what, we applaud everyone who gets up there and completes a speech.
Right.
Right? We encourage, this is an environment to encourage and to help grow. So no matter what, we encourage. And then we go and we evaluate them to help them improve. So what we're going to do is walk through, I don't know why it's backwards, but.
You can
Okay. So Kathy Jimenez, we have the date. What are some things that she could have excelled at? What did she do great in her speech?
It's a
Getting
good topic.
across.
What's that?
You pick
Getting
a good
her.
topic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Melba, what were you saying?
Getting her message across.
Okay.
Getting through the speech.
Right.
But I feel like she could have worked on like her transitioning from one to another.
Gotcha. Asha, did you have something?
No, I'm nodding.
Oh, I heard someone else kind of jump in there and I didn't
It
catch.
was Elizabeth Clare. I apologize.
Okay, Elizabeth.
She picked a good topic. She excelled at picking a very interesting topic.
Okay.
She was very well organized.
Very well organized.
You can have an amazing inspirational speech, but if it's not organized, nobody's going to care.
Right, because it's
going to be like, "What? I love what you said, but I have no idea what you said."
Because they're confused and we're not leading them through. So in Pathways, when you're doing these projects, you don't just get a research and presenting, go do it. There is, in Pathways, they will lead you through how to do a research and presenting project. And what should be the beginning, introduction, body, and conclusion of your speech, and how to organize it. So every project is, you will be stepped through the entire process. And if you're confused, and like I said, you have the mentor you can call it me as the VPE and say, hey, I'm not quite understanding this project. Can you help me with it? And we'll walk through it. So there's a lot of resources. What is something that she wants to work on? No, don't everyone bombard me with this, but what is something that she would want to work on? Franz, you have something?
Yes, I've like to see her about the confidence, which we already spoken about, but
right.
I realize the preparedness, as Mr. Weeks had bring to my attention, and which really helps me. Besides writing it or bringing the speech, but reciting it to yourself. Try to be comfortable with it, where you don't have to keep reading the page, but rather engage with the public, with the audience.
Perfect. So in this, you may want to work on section, you say you may want to work on practicing your speech more often. Maybe use a mirror so that you can get more comfortable with. So that's something you would want to put in, you may want to work on. What about, what else? Tammy, what do you think we should put in as work on? Oh, you're muted.
Hold on, Tammy.
Yes, son, there you go. You're muted.
Yes. Everyone pretty much addressed it. She needs the confidence. She needs to come out from behind the lectern and address her audience maybe more personally. She's got a lot of good tips on how to remember things. So maybe interacting with the audience with that would be good.
Okay.
JP, you have your hand up.
Who had a hand up?
JP. I don't know if you tapped it on accident.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, wait, was I called on?
Yeah, go ahead.
So there was one thing I noticed near the end of her speech, which was after her speech, she didn't shake the hand of the person that, I guess the Toastmaster of the evening after her speech. So then that's one thing I realized a lot of us, we do miss out on. It's something small, but it's still important that we shake the Toastmaster of the hand's evening or someone else's hand after we turned over the lectern.
I thought I saw her shake somebody's hand.
She did, but
Oh,
she had one coming.
did she? Okay, okay. Because it's like for me when I was watching it, was like it looked like it was in and out. Like the video was kind of grainy from.
Then she grabbed her stuff afterwards. I'm sorry to butt in, but I noticed that. I'm a very observant person, and at first I was wondering that I was a bit questionable on if that was the Toastmaster of the evening or just some random person in the room. But
y'all making some very good points. Is that you definitely want to, the ceremony part of Toastmasters is very important also. It's about acknowledging the guests, acknowledging who is the master of ceremony, so to speak. And the ceremony part is very important. You don't want to leave the lectern empty for any period of time. So you definitely wait there until you shake the hand of the Toastmaster of the evening or topics master or general evaluator, whoever is in control of the lectern at that time. And so that's it's a good point. And thank you for bringing that up, JP. What about the challenge yourself? Avery, do you have any comments? What do you think Kathy should challenge herself with?
We'll need to.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, no problem. I think by the time we are ready to do the actual evaluation, you'll get I think you'll be understand exactly what we're looking for in that block.
Okay.
Hey Lee, did you get a chance to watch the speech? Is he there?
He's muted.
Okay. Donna, what is something that Kathy would want to challenge herself?
There he is.
I think that she would need to challenge herself on stepping away from the lectern and not depending on the papers she did a lot of reading from.
Right.
It looked like she was reading a paper and she was really with her hands gripped to the side of the lectern.
Yeah.
Instead of freeing herself away. At the end, when she started to step away, I thought she was starting to go into another phase of her speech, not the end.
You have a moment of
I thought
suspense.
to myself, maybe she's about to transition, but then it was the end of the speech.
Yep.
Okay. Those are all great points. Oh, Robert, what you got?
If I was her evaluator, I would have used the phrase "domo arigato" to her because she was Madame Roboto. I would have asked her to try to express some emotion of her own. Just get yourself into an acting phase. You know, once you have a well-organized speech, you can pretend to be an actor to a certain degree. Now, obviously, stepping up behind the lectern helps with that, but just get into your own emotions and what you want with the speech. Get excited about it. So if that's the case, that'll help a lot with connecting with the audience and a lot of the other issues. That's the foundation. She's so nervous that she's trying to be very structured and stoic, and I'm saying get a little bit of emotion in there and a lot of that will be fixed.
Right. That's great. What's that?
As a tip, I think that maybe if she had created like a sense of a context or like a setting that makes her happy, she would have had better like fluidity throughout the whole thing. And it would have just flowed better. Like whenever you place yourself like in a mental, like how Rob was saying, placing yourself in a mental image where you feel comfortable will then help you to blossom and open up more and like find that ground in order to move from point A to point B while keeping others like in touch and around and aware to what's going on to get that message across.
And that's a great point because, like I said, these projects are all meant for you to tailor it to what you want and what's interesting to you. So research and presenting, it's you research a topic that you're excited about, that you want to present to someone and teach others about. So, and then, like I said, Pathways also walks you through the whole process. So,
yeah.
I'm going to step away and just turn this light on real quick to get, all right. Oh, yes, a lot better.
One thing I didn't notice.
Page 2 here. So I'm not going to put any comments in here, but I just want to point out that if you are using the PDF format, or if you're writing it in, you can put extra comments in these boxes. But as part of your 2-3 minute speaking role as the evaluator at a Toastmasters meeting, you don't want to use this as part of this speech. So this is really for, you're going to fill this out and put comments, but this is really for speaker's eyes only, so to speak. You got it? So for clarity, what would we, spoken language is clear and easily understood. So how did Kathy do in terms of clarity?
I would say like a 2 or a 1. Well, yeah, because her vocal variety was very low. It was hard to understand where she was going.
Clarity is separate from vocal variety.
So
I would say that she was clear, and there's obviously room for improvement, but
yeah,
she did hit. She was at least clear, so I would give her a 3.
Yeah, I'll give her a 3 because she gave examples throughout her speech as well to make sure that it's clear.
Okay. So 3 is spoken language is clear and is easily understood.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha.
So we'll do a 3.
Yeah.
Vocal
Yeah.
variety.
This is the competency portion, right?
This is the page 2. Yes, this is for their eyes only. So we do fill this out as part of the evaluation, and we can put extra comments in that is helpful and
right.
positive and that sort of thing for them, for the speaker. But we
Right.
don't need to fill this out.
Yeah.
Volume.
Volume.
Right.
A vocal variety, what do we say?
Between 1 and 2.
I would say 2.
Yeah, I'd say 2.
I would say 2.
It could have been more.
Eye contact. How was our eye contact?
That too. But I mean, her tone was very low. It was hard to understand.
I didn't see any eye contact.
Right now, we're on eye contact. So
1. Numero uno.
1.
Yeah.
She had great eye contact with the lectern.
They were old chums.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, we saw that.
How about her use of
Best friends with the lectern.
Did she gesture any?
No.
She kept her hands together. It was very, yep.
Gripping onto the
She
lectern.
did that. Yeah.
So that's something that she wants to develop.
She did the route that I took when I first did my speech.
Yeah. Demonstrates awareness of audience engagement and needs. It's kind of difficult to do that if you're not looking at anyone, right? So,
1.
any comments? Is she developing or emerging? What do you think?
Lots of room for improvement.
Yes, long road to go.
I have a question about audience engagement.
Okay, audience awareness?
No, engagement. In a speech like that, could she have actually introduced people, or would that have gone beyond the realms of a speech and become too interactive?
Speech, when you give one.
Without remembering somebody's name.
When you give a speech, you have free realm to basically do whatever you want. If you want to turn it into an audience discussion, you absolutely have that right. If you want to get your audience involved, that's actually how I do a majority of my speeches. It's good to get everyone involved because if they're involved in your speech, they're paying attention. Because they never know what question you might ask them next.
Okay.
And audience engagement can also be in the form of, let me try to get an example. Red is a great color, right, Robert? I'm engaging Robert, right?
So that's only if I know that it doesn't mean I've gone over my speech.
What? That's just an example of engagement.
Way to throw yourself under the bus there, Rob.
What's that?
Good job.
So he engaged me in a conversation. You don't want to do that for more than like a few seconds, but the fact that I was able to have a conversation with him and he responded and he could tell that I was listening. So if your audience is engaged, you can tell because they're hanging on to your every word or they're paying attention. They're not like rubbing their nose and like, hey, what time it is. So engagement can be part of your persuasion, but how you get them into your story and how you get them going, there's different ways to do it, but just making sure that they are going along or listening and going along with what you're saying.
Rob went straight to the indicative. That means that I just went over my time. I'm in the red zone. Time to finish. Time to wrap this up.
What about her comfort zone? Did she feel? Did she seem comfortable?
No.
Well,
You look
the only
tense.
time she seemed comfortable was when she was leaning on a lectern.
I give her a
Which
2
is
for
really
comfort.
bad
I
posture.
give
2 for comfort, Robert. What? 2 for comfort, 2?
Because she didn't stare down at the lectern the entire time. She wasn't sweating. She actually occasionally, every once in a while, looked at people. So I mean, there was, and plus she didn't faint. There was an element of comfort there, even if it was faked.
I noticed that, like, and while she was speaking, there was an audience member who was like shrugging and rolling his shoulders, like he seemed like really, really bored and like it wasn't going anywhere. Like just her level of, I don't know, discomfort or of whatever comfort which she was in, he was like affected by it. He was just like, oh no.
That goes back to audience awareness because when you notice these reactions to your audience, it is your job to step up your engagement with them to fulfill their needs
And
so that
switch
they
to
can
people.
be
Yeah.
in your speech.
Yeah.
As opposed to what's going on their cell phone or their fingernails or the ceiling.
Right. Okay, so we're going to say 2?
Yes.
Can I say something or ask something about it?
Sure.
Because I understand that somebody may have been bored, but isn't the onus of the boredom and the reaction also on the person who behaves like that? Because that's not really good form. It's
like a rub off kind of.
Rather impolite.
I get what you're saying, Asha, but if you're the speaker, you have the control of the room. So if you are engaging the speech, you're commanding the room. Basically, in a way, the way you're saying your speech and presenting it, you're kind of saying, you will look at me and you will pay attention to what I'm saying. You will not look, kind of commanding. You see what I'm saying? I'm being very extra right now, but
no,
I'm being extra, but it's all in your hand gestures and how you're engaging the room, and
you're being blunt.
And it is a part of the content of your speech also, because if it's a topic that, even if it's a boring topic, if you're presenting it in such a way that's interesting, people will be engaged.
Okay, gotcha.
Make sense?
Yes.
There are some people out there who are just jerks, and you can't do a whole lot about that. There will hecklers is probably what you're talking about. It's not a whole lot you can do about that, and you don't want to allow the heckler to control your speech. Let's put it that way.
Right, right.
Okay.
Very well.
What about interest? It engages audience with well-constructed content. So now we get to comment on her content. Was it interesting?
I would say so.
You couldn't tell it was so short.
Well, it was a 5 to 7 minute speech, but they did not show the entire thing. They just showed enough to get it.
Oh, really?
We couldn't judge.
So it's probably accomplished.
I don't know, because that was such a simple topic.
Yeah.
You know, these are basic things that people learn a lot earlier than whatever speech number she's at. I don't think she did enough research to bring something important to the club that they didn't already know.
Oh, okay.
I will not say that. I mean, the topic at hand, she wanted to bring forth the ability to improve one's memory. She has done that. She has given example how it can be done. Now it opens the door for self to work through find whatever niche that's good for you and how you're going to apply it and your is doing to accomplish the task.
Yeah,
There's angles when it comes to that.
So when we talk about interest in her well-constructed content, it's really not. It is our opinion, so to speak, but it's opinion based on what the project is. Did she accomplish the intent of the project, whether or not we think that it was relevant to us or not? She could be talking about making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Everyone knows how to do that, but did she do that in such a way that accomplished the goal of the project? And so that's what we want to kind of make sure that
Focus
we're
on.
focused on, right? What about where are we? Well, I think she was. I would say accomplished in that. What are we saying? Accomplished. Number 2.
For what?
Yeah, I think she accomplished it.
Yeah, I'll just put.
Her delivery was well. She got where she wanted to go with it.
I would say 2 for that, only because she didn't cite her sources, which is a requirement for the research and presenting project.
Is it?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Name and the pronunciation.
Well, you don't have to give the full AMA, resource.
Yeah, right.
But you can just say, this person said, something like that. It said in this article.
Cited by.
Sorry, everyone. The video started.
I should be able to submit it and should go move on to the next step.
All right, so let's submit and we'll move forward so that we can get to the test speech. Andrew's test
Thank you for
speech.
completing this evaluation.
Oh, the pressure's on.
And see how before we move on,
Trial and error.
it's about Kathy's vocal variety. She asked us to listen for that specifically today. If you want to add anything to your evaluation, select back. Once we begin comparing scores, you won't be able to make changes to your evaluation. When you are ready, select compare scores.
Now remember, when you're doing the evaluation, always keep in mind what the specific topics that the speaker asked about. That should really, in my opinion, and Robert and Andrew, Donna, anyone here who's been Toastmaster for quite some time, I think that what the person is looking to improve on should pretty much be the focus of your evaluation, because they specifically ask you for that. You don't want to ignore everything on the evaluation form and your own observation, but you definitely want to address what they ask you to address. Scores. Let's see how we did. We'll just kind of go through this really quick, and then we'll go to Andrew's test speech. All right. Oh, look at that. Oh, we're right on. This.
Oh my God.
Evaluation done. We're done. We're all perfect evaluation.
We're just that good.
Oh, that's amazing. We're good.
That's amazing.
Oh, wow.
You know what? We all deserve a high five. We're all that good.
That's right.
Digital high five. Let's go.
I can't get off the shared screen by how crazy that is. That's insane. First 10 evaluations, we made it, guys. Well, for me.
Does anyone have any questions or need any more information on any of these?
Yeah, I often don't want to give a low score to person because I feel bad about giving a low score. So how do we condition all of us to accept low scores as being helpful as opposed to being negative?
So here's the deal here. If you come to Toastmasters because you want to improve speaking, and every evaluation tells you, oh, you're doing fine, then why are you here?
That's my
If you
point.
have room that you need to improve, then you should know that. If you don't know what's wrong, if you don't know what's broken, then you can't fix it. So be prepared to receive whatever score is appropriate for your level of speaking.
And just
because if you ever want, oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You paused.
Yeah. Because if you ever want to improve as a speaker, you will see where you need to improve, and then you can pick and choose what skill you're going to work on first. All right, so take the scorecard for example. So her biggest problem areas were eye contact, gestures, and audience awareness. If she improved her eye contact and gestures alone, that would connect directly to her audience awareness, so that she can further engage her audience and keep her audience involved in her speech. So if she knows that that's something she's lacking in, for her next speech and her speech after that, she'll be more conscious of the fact that she needs to improve on those skills.
I want to point out also, if she spends more time on researching, if it's well researched and she's confident about her research, and she's entering the speech with that confidence that I know this topic, I got it, then everything else should come up also, because she's already confident with the topic itself. You see what I'm saying? When you're just sitting there talking with a good friend, you have good eye contact, you use vocal right? All of this is up there. So if you rehearse your speech, so often as if we're just sitting here drinking mochas, relaxing, then it's going to come across, right? Thanks for pointing that out, Andrew, how these criteria all connect. They all connect together.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little haggard right now. Oh.
All right, so let's see. Before we go, let's just go one. I'll just do one of them. I'll just do one of them. And like I said, I'm going to send this link out so you can definitely go through this.
These are my comments on Kathy's gestures. Kathy did not make a point to use gestures to enhance her speech. When she did move around, her body language was small and nervous. She leaned on the lectern and fidgeted with her hair.
We all caught that, right? So when I'm done here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this link to everyone, and you can, at your own, whenever you want to, you can go through this entire lesson again so that you're...
Watch at your own risk.
How do those compare? You may not agree with mine, and that's okay. If you are comfortable with your evaluation and can easily discuss why you chose the scores you selected, you're ready to evaluate.
It was spot on.
It's complete. Your next job is to present an overview of your...
Okay, so the training is pretty much done. And I think we've gone through the entire evaluation form filling out and what each block means and what we should look for and what we should say in our evaluation speech and what we should really do as a sidebar, right? So is everyone confident and understanding on how to do an evaluation so far? Avery, was I able to answer your question on this topic?
Yeah.
Feel a little bit more confident on the whole purpose of evaluating?
Yep.
Awesome. So I'm going to challenge you to listen to Andrew's speech and kind of make your own comments and what he is excelled at, what he can do, and what he can challenge, be challenged. And it would be great if you can, of course, see a couple of other evaluations, and then it'd be great if you want to participate. Would you like to?
Sure.
Awesome. And where's the timer? Asha, a timer?
What is I time this? What kind of speech is it, please?
It's 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you.
What is the order?
All right. So, what's that?
What is the order for those selected who will be?
They'll be revealed after they finish writing their evaluation.
Yes.
Oh boy. Okay.
Everyone's an evaluator tonight. So you have your paper, you have your Excel that worked on and challenged. And so everyone kind of be prepared to be called on as an evaluator.
We
Okay.
probably have time for 6, but if everybody wants to go over, we can go with more, but it's up to you how much we want to do, but we probably have time for 6.
All right, we'll go through the test speech. We'll do probably, I'll at some point I'll just say get a kind of a thumbs up from everyone that we can continue. Cool. All right. So what's that? Last minute. Andrew, can you mute everyone and just have me as the Toastmaster of the evening? And we're going to continue the rest of this event as if we are in a actual Toastmasters meeting. All right, now is the speech portion of our event. I would like to bring to the lectern Andrew Bullock, who is working on his humorously speaking project. His speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and his speech title is "Do You Know My Name?" Andrew Bullock, do you know my name? Do you know my name? Andrew Bullock.
We all have that one friend that's always surprised by something that we do or something that we have. They're always unfamiliar, even though they've known you for a very long time. Yeah, even I have a friend like that. His name is Robert Riggs. And I say that because Robert is a man who loves to have the answer to every situation. Everything. And God forbid if someone else knows the answer and they beat him to it, it's like, holy crap, I didn't know you knew that. You really? Oh, I didn't know that. I'm surprised. And I freaking love him for it. There was a situation where when I was the vice president of education in the Virginia Beach Club, for the first 6 months, I could not get rid of Robert Riggs. He was trying to do my job. He was calling members and getting them involved in speeches. He was trying to schedule my meetings and plan my meetings out. He was trying to send emails, and he was trying to micromanage me. And I looked at him and I said, Rob, stop. It's like, but if I don't do this, it won't. Rob, stop. Let me do my job. Seriously, just let me do my job. The problem with our club was we had a lot of members who weren't participating in meetings. And it was our objective to get them involved in the meetings again, get them to fill roles, get them to give speeches. So while at Rob's house, I started making phone calls to members. And Rob, seeing how I was handling the phone calls, said, that's not how I would have done it. Because mostly I was getting nothing but voicemail. And then I finally got someone to answer the phone. And I had a very pleasant conversation with them. And I eased into getting them to participate in the upcoming meeting. And Rob was sitting there with his mouth hanging wide open in complete and utter shock. After I finally hung up the phone, he said, holy crap, I didn't know you could do that. Rob, do you know who I am? Do you know my name? My name is Andrew Bullock. I know how to do my job. All you had to do was let me do my job. That's it. I got this. I thank you for trying to rescue me the first half of the year, but Rob, I know my job. Let me do my job. That's all this is about. And Rob he bowed out gracefully. He was like, "Okay, I surrender. I recognize the greatness that is you." And from then on, whenever a situation comes up, the first thing he does is, "Oh, well, Andrew's an expert in that. But he can help you with that. Rob, stop volunteering me. For crying out loud. Please. I recognize that I have done it and I am an expert. But come on, man. Come on. Just because I know doesn't mean that I have to do it for everybody else. Just because you knew, you didn't have to do it for everybody else. Love you, though. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, so after every speech we clap. So since we're on Zoom meeting, we do, right? We're going to give 1 minute for everyone to complete their evaluations.
Just give people 2 minutes.
Let's give people 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes.
Step up.
Evaluation. Typically in a Toastmasters event, after each speech will be 2 minutes, but we'll do It's time, or are you timing? It's okay. Go ahead and start the clock. You're fine. Let's start 2 minutes. It's all right. That's cool. 2 minutes.
Oh, you can't hear me.
No, we can.
Now we can.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that about 2 minutes?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Now we go into an evaluations portion of this training. I want to point out, everyone, that this is a learning environment, okay? Just making an attempt is awesome. We're not going to bash you. I'm not going to stop you and say, no, you got to do it this way. No, you're going to get your full 2 to 3 minutes. The only time we're going to stop you is if you go to 3 minutes, 30 seconds. So that's pretty much it. So just feel relaxed and just do your best. Robert.
Can we get a timer's report for Andrew?
Yes, please. Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out.
I don't know if we want to just round up because I had 4 minutes, 26 seconds, and 22.
No, we don't have to get that granular. 4 minutes.
It was almost 4 minutes, 30 seconds.
Oh, no, 4 minutes and 26 is perfect.
Okay. He was within time.
Okay.
Go, Andrew.
Slightly under, but yeah. Okay, so.
So, how are we going to do this? Are we going to go ahead with allowing everyone an opportunity to evaluate, or should we just pick a few and keep it short and sweet?
Well, I don't understand.
Well, the time
We
is
have a
not-
list of individuals who we feel like could really get a lot of value at practicing.
I have
Oh, you have, okay.
Yeah, I'll
So-
go through the list.
Well, we've been amending that list since the meeting started.
So I sent the most recent one to him with 6 names on it, and I leave it up to David to choose how he wants to do it.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, so can we, what we'll do is we'll unmute each one. Does Andrew have this list? I'll just point them out. Okay.
I have the list.
You have the list, the updated one? Okay, good. We'll just go down that list then. All right, so for our first evaluator, evaluating Andrew on his speech, we have Miss Asha Zar.
No, I mean, hi.
Just do your best. You got this.
Well, I felt that I thought that he was very clear. Can I just go back to one thing, please? Because I was trying to do 2 things. I thought that he excelled at getting the audience's attention, and I was really focused, I will be honest, on getting everything ready for the next timers in the evaluation, etc. And I would like to decline this, please, Mr. Toastmaster, if at all possible.
I'm going to actually start this all over because I'm going to say that what this list, Asha, I'm going to give you another opportunity. What we're going to do is we're going to do kind of a evaluation sandwich. Usually when you do an evaluation, you want exactly the way it's written. You want to say something positive. That's why we start with what they want to excel at. Then we want to give kind of the meat and potatoes, and then we want to kind of, so you start with something good, meat and potatoes, end with something good. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with Robert Riggs giving us an example of an evaluation that we're supposed to, what evaluation is supposed to look like, right? And then we're going to give Asha another opportunity to try again, okay? Because kind of just pulling on you, it kind of wasn't fair. So we're going to give Andrew, we're going to give Robert, give us an example of what it's supposed to be like, and then we'll give Asha another chance to kind of go down the list, and then go from there.
Would you be open to having Elizabeth do it? Because I didn't get a chance to write everything down.
Okay, Elizabeth, are you up for that?
Fellow Toastmasters, and especially Andrew. Andrew's speech was very interesting. I thought it might have been a roast, but I didn't hear how it was introduced. So Andrew excelled at having a good title that got us all very interested in what he was going to talk about. Do you know my name? He had great voice variety, and he had a development, so like a topic sentence, and then he had a number of examples of his complaints about Robert with interesting samples. And the voice variety in all of those were like taking his own voice and Robert's voice. I thought that was really good. I would work on, let us know if Robert gave permission for this kind of roast. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure that, you know, we were being told something we shouldn't really hear about this friendship that wasn't working. I see from Robert. So I would have liked to know the background of this. It's a roast or it's a complaint, and who it's directed at. I think Andrew should challenge himself on better background for the lighting. With the lighting of the new beginners behind him, he kind of blended in. It wasn't the greatest background, and the lighting wasn't great. And also, so we would know the purpose of the speech, so we would know that you weren't just dumping on Robert. I think also challenge yourself to say something really great about the friendship with Robert, so that it balances all the complaints that you have. Mr. Evaluator, Mr. Toastmaster, who? David.
Thanks, Elizabeth. That was a great evaluation. So did everyone kind of get a gist of how an evaluation should go? Okay, so we're going to, Asha, you'd like to get another shot? Oh, hold on. Oh, you're still muted.
Yes, I'm resetting this so I can time myself.
Oh, no, don't worry about it, Robert. Robert will time you. So don't worry about your own time. That'll be a distraction to you. And when you're evaluating, you wouldn't be timing yourself anyway, so.
Okay.
Right.
Great. So I thought that Andrew excelled at using humor, using examples, and using his voice. I couldn't really see any gestures that stuck, that captured my attention, but I did think he did a great job in piquing all of our interest. And as far as what he may have wanted to work upon, I concur with Elizabeth as far as asking, hey, can I talk about you? But I didn't know that it was a roast. Because I watched roasts earlier this evening with Pete Davidson, and it was not that harsh, although it was as funny. So that was one thing that I noted, and I kind of actually thought that perhaps Robert had been in on it because he seemed to enjoy it. And as far as challenging himself, I do like when Andrew reveals himself and doesn't stop the video. So I enjoy seeing him so that I can become a little bit more comfortable, not comfortable, but a little bit more used to seeing him and his hand gestures. So I don't know if you'd be interested in doing that in future, but just getting to see you more instead of feeling like it's for the first time, that would be really great so that I would understand your gestures and their particular meaning to you and how you engage and talk with them going forth. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Great job. Great job, Asha. Fantastic. Awesome. All right, so we're going to turn the timer back over to Asha. So would you mind please continuing timing report? Awesome. And our next will be Mr. Zach. Are you still, there he is, Mr. Zach. Can we get Zach? There you go. All right.
Want me to go? All right. Andrew, so much of this speech was really, really good. You excelled at a lot of things. Very clear tone of voice. You spoke very nice and clear. Your variety, was up and down. It was very good, engaging sort of tone. The eye contact, it's kind of difficult with the Zoom calls. That might be one of your things that, you need to work on a little bit. But, I saw lots of gestures. But again, the screen was sort of like a distraction from that whole entire thing. So you might want to adjust the screen a little bit somehow. I don't know if to adjust the contrast. I'm not exactly certain. I saw some gestures. And then did a great job, doing awareness with your audience. Comfort level was outstanding. And it's a very fun and interesting topic that you did. So the only thing I can really challenge you on is, a little more eye contact, a little bit more. You did an occasional rocking back and forth every so often. But, other than that, some of that was a part of the speech, so it was pretty good. So all in all, great job, Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, thank you, Zach, for your evaluation of Andrew. We're going to do Mr. Franz next. We have time for Mr. Franz. What is your evaluation of Andrew's speech?
Well, thank you, so Toastmasters. And yes, Andrew, one of my great teachers. I've learned a great deal and I appreciate the speech and the camaraderie that you have displayed is excellent. I didn't think it was a complaint, but rather a kinship of relationship between you and Mr. Wiggs, which was very interesting. I enjoyed it. Your speech was on point. Your name was certainly resonant, and your talent was marvelous. And the enjoyment that you bring, the engagement, you keep me smiling all the way through. It wasn't a roast to me, rather a pleasure to see the display of the friendship. Also, the things that I love within the speech is the opportunity for me to emulate your candor and as well as your knowingness of your topic. That really brings it home to me. Improvement. Well, what can I say about your improvement? For you have already given me everything. Your gesture was already there. You indeed an engagement of sorts. The hands gesture was involved, but I like to see a little more casual gesture, just as the way we usually do. That will really accentuate the speech and display your friendship. That is the only place that I can see improvement, but overall, thank you for sharing this great topic with us all tonight. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right. Thank you, Franz. That was very good. I think you hit all 3 points of the evaluation, and I think you did a fantastic job. Thank you for stepping up and go ahead with that. I want to point out that is 8:59. We are supposed to end our event at 9 o'clock. Can I get a thumbs up of we want to continue? I have 1 thumbs up. I only have like 2 left, about two more, maybe 3. All right, awesome. I got a lot of thumbs up. You guys are awesome. We're going to call up Miss Melba Puerto.
Well, I'm excited. You guys did really well for those who have spoken so far. To Andrew, I really did enjoy the topic choice of your speech. As they say, what's in a name? That definitely rang through. I just loved how it was straight out of the gate humor from the beginning, and you just kept that up. So thank you for sharing that topic with us. And as everybody was saying at first, the camaraderie between you and Rob is very strong. Everybody needs that one friend to just hold on to. So diving straight in to this evaluation, those butterflies are starting to go away. It's like I get this drive for it. You excelled at grabbing our attention and keeping your humor up. Your gestures were very subtle, but they were in there. That confidence, your transitioning, and fluidity of your speech was really great. Your articulation and your vocal variety was also on point. I could hear every word that you were saying. What I feel that you could work on, though, is like repetition and phrasing it in a different way from like when you were saying that, if Rob would try and cut you off, Rob, let me do my job. Say, Rob, let me get back to my duties, man. This is my job. This is what I do. This is what I live for. Let me get back to those and find different ways to put other words in there to just keep that going and to keep that flow moving and to keep that tension, that like intricate level that you want there to keep everybody in line with you. You did really well. I enjoyed the speech. It definitely had me laughing the whole way. And what I could say is that I'd like to challenge you, and you're like using more gestures. Really show us what you're feeling throughout that. Like if you're feeling a little bit upset, be like, yo, slam that down, put it down, and really get that point across and keep us reeled in and like on the edge of our seats waiting for what's next. So you did really well. I appreciated it. Hello, Toastmaster.
All right. Great job, Melba. You did a fantastic job. And you are starting to feel looking confident. I want to let everyone know as you go through these and you keep coming to our events, you'll get more confident saying these speeches. So don't worry about it. You just keep coming back, keep learning and growing. I would like to see, let's see, Jennifer's off. She had to get going. Asha has a question. Let us see. Let me get back to you, Asha. Asha, you're our timer. What do you have something you need to say?
Yes, because I was timing for 3 minutes instead of 2 minutes. I actually don't know when I should be holding up the cards.
Okay, so at 2 minutes, you hold up the green card.
But I thought I'm timing now for 3 minutes.
What's that?
I mean, 2 minutes instead of 3.
It's 2 to 3 minutes.
2 to 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes, you hold up the green card, and you want to hold that up for 30 seconds, right?
Oh,
So,
that's what I had written down, but then I saw a message to do it for 2 minutes. So I was confused. I thought that was the total amount. So I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody's gone to 2 minutes yet. I thought there was a cap that I hadn't realized for 2 minutes.
No, it's okay. We're not gonna focus too heavily on.
Then I'll be quiet.
Timing. We're not gonna. We're not gonna. Robert, what you got?
I apologize, Asha. 2 minutes was your time for your evaluation.
Oh. All right.
So it was not a direction.
No, it was not a direction.
That's funny.
Okay, thank you.
It's okay. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So, Tammy. Let's do Tammy.
Hello, everyone. All right. Andrew, I love your humor. You always present with us with such enthusiasm, excitement, and funny. You are just funny. And you get us to laugh and feel good, and that opens us up to everything else you're going to say. And even though you were kind of going at Robert, we know you're his buddy, and you guys go back and forth, I'm sure. So your vocal variety was really good, your pitch, your tone, we could hear you. I love the excitement when you said, let me do my job. You're comfortable with your audience, and the confidence just emanates off of you. Something you might want to work on, and I really had to look for this, but even though your vocal variety was good, you could possibly, like, you went a little flat when you were, like, when you said, Rob, stop. Say it like you mean it. Rob, stop. Put a little enthusiasm in there. Get them to stop. To challenge yourself, maybe more hand gestures. That's hard on Zoom, you know. You have a lot more freedom when you're in person. You can move around and your hands are up here. So we understand that. And for all of us, Zoom presents a lot of different challenges. So it's good for a speaker to be aware of them and plan ahead for them. So some of the things that have come up is lighting and gestures are a big deal because we can't see you. In a room, we would be moving back and forth, and we would have that kind of freedom. You could address one person. On Zoom, you really don't get that. You lose it. But that's not Andrew's fault. So in closing, I want to say, great job. You make us laugh, and that is always a gift. So thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, thank you so much. You did. Everyone's doing great. I know it's good. The first time you're not going to get evaluation exactly perfect, but like I said, you keep practicing and practicing. You definitely want to end with a challenge. You want to always, when you're finishing up your evaluation, challenge the person to be uncomfortable. Give them a challenge that is going to make them a little bit uncomfortable, because that discomfort is what causes people to stretch. So if they really need to work on, say, hand gestures, then I'm going to challenge you for your next speech. I'd like to see more hand gestures, and you can do that by practicing in the mirror, right? So definitely always give them a challenge. Our last evaluation, Miss Avery, would you like to try to give it a shot? I think I saw a sure why not, but you're still muted.
Am I good?
You're good. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So when Andrew was speaking, I really liked his hand gestures, and his speech seemed like really inviting with his hand gestures mixed into it. And he also smiled in the beginning. So that's like, oh, like, I'm welcoming you to like listen to my speech and all that. And the flow was really good because it was almost like he was telling a story and there wasn't that many natural when he was speaking. I don't work on this, but there was like a glare in his glasses. I don't know if you can really work on that. Oh, can you hear me? It froze.
Yeah, you're still.
Okay. And that's really all I saw. And yeah. Am I supposed to say thank you, Toastmaster?
You're good.
I think you're fine, Avery. I think you did a great job. And I want to thank you for actually taking the opportunity, or actually stepping up to try this, because you're a guest today, and we are happy to have you as our guest. And we would definitely love to see you come back. So we want to definitely give you applause for attempting to do that. And I think you hit some great points on that. One thing I would like to point out is that when you do an evaluation, always at the end, you might want to give a challenge. So that's kind of your opportunity to say I'm challenging you, kind of like I dare you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I dare you to use more hand gestures. I dare you to use more, it's kind of like that. So Robert, what you got? You are muted.
There we go. Okay. Can I, if time permitting, if everybody would allow me to do one last quick evaluation, I would like to give a good example of a challenge.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, everybody willing? Real quick. Andrew, that was a fantastic speech. I always laugh whenever you come up to the lectern. There's a few times you've given a kind of a serious speech and it built up and I really felt your emotion, but your favorite emotion is humor. You use it over and over again. You used it here. And the number one way you use humor is through storytelling, through some kind of situational comedy. You are perfect at that. You excel at that. And this speech geared towards that. I love that. You framed your strength within the speech. That is something that most people, they see a speech and they see a topic and they're like, okay, how can I massage this and massage that to meet the qualifications? You actually started with the story and kind of built the qualifications around it. That's what I wanted to, I love that part about the speech. For parts of that I thought could do a little better though when framing the story is that you told the story and it kind of ended. You told the story and it ended. I wanted to see a build up, but a little bit more of an accelerated build towards the end. I wanted to see your pace and your tempo change in your actual speech. And yeah, I could talk about your gestures and all that kind of stuff because we are on social media and my arms only go so far on social media. But I wanted to actually physically see, or sorry, I wanted to actually hear your increases in your hand structures and your hand gestures in your story and your speech. If I can't see it, I want to hear it. For a challenge, now this is going to be a little bit of a challenge for you because I know this is something I've seen you work with in the past. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I want to hear markers. The best way to tell a joke is you build, not only accelerate it with your actual speech, but you build it by putting little nuggets at the end of points. For example, your whole speech title was, "What's my name?" My name's Andrew Bullock, right? After your first paragraph, what if you just said, "Rob, what's my name?" "Rob, my name's Andrew Bullock." And then at the end of the second paragraph, you could have said, "Rob, hey, my name's still Andrew Bullock." And at the end, you could have been like, "Rob, my name is Andrew Bullock," and then made your point. When you do that right there, it builds the joke to the end. The best comedians find a way to build a joke until it accelerates right at the end, and it's just hilarious because you've already warmed up everybody else's sense of humor. At that moment, they're like, "Oh my God, you slayed it right at the end." I would have loved to have heard that. So that's my challenge to you. Overall, fantastic speech. Can't wait to hear another one.
Robert, that was awesome. Thank you for giving us that example of an evaluation. And with that, let's get a quick timers report, really quick. Really.
Do you want me to go like an auctioneer? Okay, we have Elizabeth at 1 minute 40 seconds, Zach Phillips at 1 minute 25, Franz, sorry, at 1:57, Melba 1:59, Tammy 2:20, Avery at 1:05, and Robert was 2:46. Everyone was within time.
As far as I'm concerned, everyone qualified. I want to thank everyone for participating in this evaluation training. And I hope everyone got something out of this and will have learned something and has gotten some value. It is my goal to provide value for you as New Beginnings Toastmasters so that every event you leave here learning something. I'm going to turn over.
Hey, David.
Yes, sir.
Can I say a couple things before?
Absolutely. Go for it.
So I actually did a couple things within my speech on purpose just to see if anybody would catch them. And one thing that was never mentioned in any of the evaluations was the fact that I came up short on my time. This was something I deliberately did on purpose. I stopped myself before I hit the 4 minute 30-second mark so I would not meet the time requirement so that it would be brought out in the evaluation.
Oh.
And also, the way I framed my speech, now Rob did touch on it about the content, but I wanted to see how many people actually focus on the content more so than my delivery. Because when you give an evaluation, it's not the content that you're evaluating, it is the delivery of the speech. The content is just a small portion of the overall evaluation. Like, there's one line on the scorecard of your Pathways evaluation form for well-researched or, basically the interest or the content of the speech. And that's the amount of attention you should give to it. It's everything else around that. The gestures, the eye contact, the body language, the vocal variety. Those are the things. Now, it was a humorous speech, and yes, I did kind of frame it as a roast in the form of us telling a story. And yes, that was intentional the way I did that. But I wanted to see how many people focused on that as opposed to focusing on where I really needed improvement. Like, my gestures were somewhat minimal, yes, and then my vocal variety was there, but then I just cut off my speech and I came up short on my time. So, but thank you everybody for your evaluations.
Oh, that's good. That's a good point, Andrew. Thank you that's actually really awesome. Timing is really important. We time all of our speeches because you do not want to ramble on and on and on. And it's also important to write our speeches and to speak our speeches in such a way that we get the point across within a time limit so that we're not. It's another form of controlling the crowd when you're the audience. You are in control and also in control of the the timing. So you want to get your point across in as little time as possible, because then you're keeping your audience engaged. Cool. Awesome. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed doing this this training, and we are done. So I'm going to turn over
Your acting president.
Robert Riggs. He's going to be acting president for today.
All right. How is everybody? I'd like to hear everybody whoop and holler, and I'd like everybody to be unmuted if we could help with it. Andrew, can we get an unmute? Come on, Andrew.
Yeah, for some reason I took away my unmute button, but everybody can unmute themselves.
So, and you are now unmuted. So if you are muted, you need to unmute yourself. So I just want to say, everybody, this has been an absolutely wonderful evening. Normally we would have voting and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. There we go. I heard Melba. I always love to hear Melba. I normally would have voting, and we'd say like who was best evaluator, who, if we had table topics, who was best table topics. Andrew was the only speaker. But technically he didn't qualify at 426. So I'm gonna, even though we aren't voting, Andrew, I'm gonna say you don't qualify, therefore you don't get a ribbon. So, but I do want to say thank you to everybody. Real quick, we have one guest, Avery. You came to our meeting tonight. I think you were trying to come last week, but you weren't able to come, but you tried to come this week. So tell us, did you enjoy your Toastmasters experience? Hopefully it didn't freeze again.
It did.
Oh. So, if Avery's phone unfreezes, I'd love to hear what she thinks about the meeting.
You know what? I think if we just really coax it, maybe it'll unfreeze. Who knows?
Unfreeze.
Unfreeze. There we go. It's unfrozen. So, Avery, what did you think about the meeting?
I thought it was pretty good. I learned a lot of things, and then I also kind of reflected on things that I would talk to with other people, and I just learned how to evaluate people and all that kind of.
It was a job done, guys. Woohoo! We did it.
Well, we definitely appreciate having you here. We always like to invite guests as many times as they want. We would like to invite you as well to come back. We meet on the 1st, 2nd, and 4th Tuesdays, and normally our meetings finish by 9. And they also, use this as an evaluation training. So we have these once every 2-3 months. We have some kind of training, but normally it's the speeches, then the table topics, then the evaluation, and that's kind of how it's all generally structured. So please come back next Tuesday if you want to see a more regular traditional meeting. We should have all sorts of interesting speakers there as well. So it won't just be Andrew; it'll be a whole variety of people. So.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
Would I also be getting emails for next week too?
Yes. Yes, I put you on a list of people that we then send out to all the guests to come back. So please feel free to come back. And if also, I noticed that I didn't get your phone number. This is just a little side conversation. I didn't get your phone number in one of those emails as a contact us. But if you feel free to send an email with your information, we can give you any types of questions, and you can call my phone as well. So, but definitely, thanks for coming out tonight.
Ow.
Is there any final announcements from David or Andrew or anybody else? Anybody?
Oh.
All right. Go ahead.
As far as our potluck, there is currently no plans for a potluck until we hear from ECPI. They are looking at reopening in July, but they're basically in a holding pattern. They're waiting for official word on whether or not they are allowed to reopen.
Well, I'm supposed to be going back in June for a class, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, basically they're playing the waiting game to see at what capacity they can reopen. There was concern about recent spikes in coronavirus cases here in Virginia Beach. So once they have an official schedule, they'll let us know so that we can be back there soon, and then we'll kind of plan our potluck around our return to ECPI.
Yay!
Okay. And I think it's fair to assume that more than likely we will have a potluck, but it may not be until August. And I think everybody may be okay with that. So we'll see what happens.
I'm from Philly.
No, exactly. Normally we have a potluck at the end of June and at the end of December, one to celebrate the new officers' installations, and then another one for a Christmas party. So maybe, So that's the only announcement I have for that. And beyond that, officer trainings, new officers, I'll reach out to each. We're having officer training in July. It's all virtual. It's going to be Friday night, completely virtual across the entire district. So we'll talk more about that later. And David, did you want to have a hot wash after the meeting?
You do a quick one.
Okay. Any officers or current or next upcoming officers, we're going to go ahead and wrap this meeting real quick, but we'll do a quick 10-minute lessons learned session. That's all we're going to do. So everybody, you have a wonderful night, and thank you for coming out. All right.
Being adjourned.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.